students to know, understand, and do. Step 2, why aren't they doing it? Step 3, what are we going to do about it? And step 4, did it work? So I'll give you a flavor. There are different skills in each step. This one, this one is the one. One was, this is the one that worked before lunch. This one has gone through 2 sets of batteries in the morning, and I didn't have a 3rd set. And so when I talk on this, it's showing it coming up over there.
Okay.
But nothing's coming out of this.
Okay, Rick's going to look at it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Problem identification. Step 1. Identify the replacement behavior. We want the microphone to work. Second skill, current level of performance. The microphone is not working. The microphone goes to there, but it doesn't come out of there. Third, what do we want? We want it to go there and come out of there. So, replacement behavior, we want kids to be able to, and we'll make it easy for right now, demonstrate greater level of appropriate fluency. Let's say that's 60 words a minute. So the current level of performance is 60 words a minute. The desired level, current level is 20 words a minute. The desired level is 60 words a minute. How are the peers doing? How are the other kids like this kid doing? Let's say it's English language learners. We referred a particular kid to this group. Kids reading 20 words a minute. We say, how are the other English language learners doing? They're reading 24 words a minute. Whose problem is this? The kid or the group? The group. So at that point, the team would say, we don't problem solve this for the kid. We need to look at why all English language learners are not reading fluently at a grade level. Otherwise, over time, you refer one, then another, then another, then another. So if you look at your blue sheet, you will see basically that problem identification has these things. So Lisa's just going to say, uh-oh, we forgot a peer comparison. Now we'll go back and get it. Step 2, we develop hypotheses about why kids are not able to do it, and we collect data to demonstrate that our hypotheses are true. We'll talk about that more. Third, we do the intervention stuff. We're going to dive into that. And then fourth, we collect data to find out if it works. Critical issue. The data that we collect to find out that it works has to be the data we use to identify our target. You don't switch data sources. So we'll see what that looks like. So identifying the goal. I just went through this. Let me ask you a question. So we have a benchmark of 110. I don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. We have a kid or a group of kids down at 22. And the peer group is up here. If I asked you, is effective instruction going on for this skill in that classroom? Yes or no? Yes. Why? Because the vast majority of the kids are up here. Whose problem is it? Who are you going to focus on? Yes. So the key to problem solving first is figuring out who's the right person to focus on. What's the right entity? Okay? Let's do it again. Who are we going to focus on this time? The peer group, the whole group. Now what? Dang it. Just look at it, common sense. So what's your answer? The group, but also who else? Sure. Does the kid have more needs than the group? Yes. But here's what we know, is that students who are struggling may improve, but they're not going to improve at any higher than the peer group, because the peer group is reflecting what is available and what is working. So we might want to work with both. The kid to bring it up to the peer group, but then elevate the entire peer group. And I'll show you an example of that before the end of the day. So this first step is really saying, who is the target of the goal? So if you take a look at that now, and we take a look at these steps, how many of you are doing all 5 of those components of problem identification. Probably doing current performance, benchmark, who knows. A lot of people don't do the peer comparison. And if you're in a diverse school district, you have to do that. Otherwise, you can end up engaging in discriminatory activities. Okay, let's move on. So does that, first of all, does that make sense to you? Great. So here's an example. We want kids, all kids, to pass math in the 9th grade. Currently, 193 are passing and 27 are not passing. We want 220 to pass. The peer performance is pretty good. Are we going to do any major alteration to our math instruction in 9th grade when we have 193 of 220 kids succeeding? No. So we've got to figure out why these 27 kids aren't like the other 193. That's the task. So 27 kids are failing. We want 0 failing. We want all passing within 9 weeks, 1 grading period. You with me? We have 27 kids. How many kids do we have to get passed per week? This sounds like a 2nd grade math problem. We're going to the grocery store. We want to have 14 apples. We already have 7. How many new ones do we have to get? So we want 3 kids a week to move to passing. This step is critical because it lays out a realistic growth rate for the resources that you have. So our standard thing in middle school and high school is we put kids on weekly report cards. Every Friday, they get a grade for what their grade would be for the 9 weeks based upon that week's work. And we look at what it was that brought the grade down. Was it homework? Was it classwork? Was it tests? Was it absent? What was it? But we focus on only, in this case, 3 kids a week. So if you said to a math teacher, said to the whole 9th grade, we got 27 kids, we got to get to passing. And in 9 weeks, they're like, whoa. You said, wait, we just got to move 3 kids a week. Now, is it likely that all 27 kids are at the same level of failing? No. You got some wannabes sitting right on a DF, and then you got some, what is math? So something I'm going to show you later, particularly as you're looking at this at a school level. It's very important to show that things are working. And if you are a school that is struggling, you will be able to have more flexibility in what you do if you show that what you're doing is working. Are the kids who are at the bottom going to be the likely ones to cross the finish line first? No. So in this case, you're going to have, it's going to be easy to move those almost kids. Well, you have more time to work with the kids at the bottom. The worst thing you can do with MTSS and RTI is to start with your worst kids and expect them to move fast. I'll show you. You have bubble kids all the time. And I don't know if with your kids' scores, John, I'm keeping it on you because you're the only principal. I don't, at this point, really remember anybody else who's a principal. So you know when you get your distribution of test scores, you have some kids sitting right on the line. And what's your first name?
Tracy.
Tracy? Yeah, don't choke. And so you show Tracy the scores, and what's your first name? Luke? Luke. So Tracy goes to John. Oh my God. Luke passed. How in God's name did that happen? And look who didn't pass. What's your first name? Bridget didn't pass. The intervention may be working, but it's a little scary. So you have kids on that bubble who may have gotten lucky with one answer, and it moved them ahead. Another kid that got, but those kids are near. And the kids there, it's easy to push them over. They're already at the top of the wall, you just gotta push them. You got a bunch of kids down here that as long as you keep pushing the near kids over and bringing them up, you have lots of time to work with your bottom figures. And that's a strategy. You can put the least amount of resources into moving kids not far from the mark and put most of your resources into the bottom, but don't expect that those kids are going to move. So that's a leadership. And I don't mean leadership just by the principal. I mean, that's a school leadership decision. Who do we expect to move in the first week? Who do we expect to move in the second week? Every math teacher has the name of these kids and the expectation for how close they are to moving. Does that make sense? So we have this big issue, this big goal. We now have to lay it out in a strategic plan for what are our expectations week to week. For every time we do any group work, that's what we have to do. Does that make sense to you? So how many kids per week have to improve? And then people can buy it. So in this case, that's what the line looks like. We'd have none down here, or 3 the first week, and it's going to take us 9 weeks. And we would then start plotting how many actually happened. How many are familiar with AIM lines? Put your hands up. AIM lines? It's the line that you want kids to do. The trend line is the actual data line. So after 3 weeks, if the trend line is not on the AIM line, is it working? No. So we're supposed to have 9 kids at the end of 3 weeks improve. What if we have 4? Aren't we going to get back together and say, why isn't this working? If you don't do that and you go 6 weeks down, you're a mess. You only have 3 weeks to go and you can't save yourself. You cannot. So does that overall make sense? Yes or no?
Yes.
Questions? Okay. I know you're coming back from lunch. I'll get you doing something in a second. So here's the next one. You're going to do this. Why are they not able to pass math? We have to have a way to organize that. 27 students are unable to pass Math 1 because we're going to have multiple sources of data. We'll get to that in a moment. You should have, I don't think you have it. You don't. But that's okay, because we're not drilling way down on this. So I'm going to ask you to do a tabletop. We have 4 categories that we look at. They aren't able to do it. What is it about the instruction? They aren't able to pass. What is it about the curriculum? They aren't able to pass. What is it about the environment? The environment is the classroom, the school, home, community. And then what is it about the learner? So here's what I want you to do at your table. We have 27 kids who are not passing 9th grade math. It could be 3rd grade math. It could be 12th grade math. What is one instructional reason why they might not be passing? So that could involve scope and sequence. It could involve pacing. It could involve teacher strategies. It could involve opportunity for practice. The curriculum. What is it about the environment? 27 kids in one of frequent one for us, particularly for our migrant workers. Is it working? It's better. Thank you. Did you find the problem?
It's working. It's working.
Okay.
We're testing.
Okay. Can you hear me better? Thank you. Good? Okay. So environment. So with our migrant workers, the older kids have to babysit the younger kids. They don't have time to do homework. They're babysitting, they're doing a job. The environment doesn't give them opportunity to do. Or what about the learner? Has not learned math facts. So here's what I want you to do. As a table, not as individuals, I want you to come up with one idea around instruction that would help explain why they're not passing. One for curriculum, one for environment, and one for learning. And I want you to just brainstorm. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this.